Okay, so today we are taking this baby, Nintendo Switch, which has its already nice skin applied to it. What we are doing, just for good measure, we're going to remove these guys. You don't need this. What we need to do is put on surface glass. Okay, this is just in case I need to show. So, as you can see, there is dirt on the surface. Shows up really well in this camera, strangely enough. That doesn't look that bad in person. But this is not a protected screen, has smudges, all that goodness. So we have to clean that off first. So what I'm going to do is take out all the goodies. Da-da-da! Da-da! We have our DBrand cover, which I have not opened yet, apparently. When in doubt, take out the knife. Okay. So, we do have microfiber. That's a good thing. We have our microfiber. Our cleaning wipes, we have the wet wipe and the dry wipe. Our 3M adhesive, effectively skin that we're not using. So in essence, before there was a skin on this, this would not bind to the unit itself, to the console's frame. So you could use just one of their standard, adhesives. And I guess that's cheaper for them. That makes sense. But because we have a skin here, what I'm using today is a little different. Should serve the same purpose because we're just trying to make a hinge. Cellophane tape. Sticks on, does its thing, and you can slowly peel it off with no effect. So, that's what I'll be using. So, first step is a little bit of microfiber here, but we're not going to use it quite yet. The way the video states it, we use the wet wipe and put it down. The dry wipe, we're not really supposed to use. But I'm going to anyway, just because it kind of can get some of the initial moisture off, and then I'll immediately follow with this. So, we start with wet wipe. There's a tear point, but I'm going to say no. We're going to take this beautiful wet wipe, and we're going to wipe down the surface. That squeak is what we want. Okay. Looks like it's drying all right, so we'll just go straight to this. We want no streaks, which it looks like we're good on. Flip it around, just make sure it's clean. Give it a light buff. Now I think my microphone is canceling this right now, but I have a very small vapor hood above here that is keeping dust out of the way. So we shouldn't get any dust laying on the surface again. And that looks immaculate. So this is where I had an issue before. We take out glass. This time we know that there's not going to be anything there because not only am I wearing my anti-static so that I can lay my hand down if I need to, but also gloves. So we're going to make sure there's not even skin follicles. We have two sheets. Last time I had to go through both and both failed. So we're going to slide this guy out. Our goal is to align this. I forget which way is which, but you can tell by the cuts. It goes this way. Okay. So we don't really need to worry so much because the adhesive is covered on the back. The front, I don't remember if there is anything on the front, but shouldn't matter. Looks, according to the reflection anyway, immaculate. In any case, except for the smudges I just put there, that's fine. We're going to take our tape, and just to make it easy, we're going to put it on beforehand. Whoop. And to make sure we have a good hinge, I'm going to put it on double. And I have a ferret running wild, so give me one moment. I make it act like everything's clean, but there are ferrets running around. So we're going to align this perfectly and put down the tape. Give ourselves a wide double hinge, because I think that might help. Before, my hinge was relatively narrow. So we're going to want to go from this side, go corner to corner. So, perfectly aligned. Nice even spacing, even gaps, and we have a good hinge. We're going to press nice and hard all the way down. Make sure it all still lines up, which it does. The way that they state it should work. This should fall into place and just do its thing. Looks like we are having issues with our tape though. In fact, like everything is sliding, so this may not be a good solution. I'm gonna try this again. Again, just to be sure, we're gonna one off our microfiber. Make sure we're clean. So we're clean again. Perfectly clean. So again, and this time we'll use their adhesive and hope it doesn't do anything. Hopefully. Okay, so we're gonna take their adhesive patch and use it. So, once again, we have glass. We have their nice long adhesive patch that we're going to use. And again, we will hit this just to be safe. Now we can do this. Get this in place from the top. About there, if I remember. So we make ourselves a hinge. Of course, we're gonna have some issues there, but nice hinge. Press down. I'm gonna have to use one of these less tacky bits on my pinkies. There we go. Nice, solid, hard edge. We should be able to do this now. What they recommend, you take the adhesive off, line everything up, and then you just drop it. And it should, as you can see there, sort of, it starts sealing itself. And we have the same issue that we had before. Right here is where it happened before. On that side, this is exactly where it happened before. I don't know if you can see it. There's an air bubble stuck there. It's because the adhesive seals along one end and along the other end here, but it doesn't seal in the middle, so it bridges together and traps a bubble of air. This is almost impossible to take out. The hair I'm going to have to fix up anyway, but we're going to take this card that was on the adhesive. We're going to try and buff it out. And we can get the air bubble out. The problem, it's a little hard to tell under the camera. Yeah, you can't really see it under the camera, but right where it was on the edge here, there's a prismatic kind of effect where there's still a gap in the adhesive, and you can't take that out. No removing that. So we're going to try this again. Those who care, just take a knife carefully, because it is glass, and peel up. Now if you notice, if I put it back down, it will reseal. But again, I don't know if you can't really see it too well. There is a prismatic effect, little speckles everywhere. and the edges do not ever reset properly. So we're going to take this guy off. So we can now take our new piece of glass, very carefully line it up. Exactly there. Put this on, bezel it down. I'm going to use this back end of the knife just to make sure it's on nice on a hinge. Nice and easy and quick. Okay. Boom. So it's filling from this corner, making its way up and over. Actually, it looks like it might go down the center this time. Ooh, it is going down the center, except for a giant air bubble there. So in this case, it did not go down evenly at all. We have air bubbles everywhere. And we have some prismatics in the black area here. This corner I can just press out. The big air bubble in the center is what concerns me. So we're going to take our little slider here again, since it's low friction on the surface, and we're going to buff out the corners, make sure it sticks down good. And again, there's little prismatics. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see that one pretty well. There's a prismatic right there, but it's not a big deal. That one's not. So we're going to see if we can maybe get this off and then push out this air bubble. So, this is going to be rough, because it's pretty huge. Giant air bubble. Looks like there is nothing making that air bubble stick. There's just an imperfection in the adhesive. I'm going to try and take it to the closest edge here. I don't know if I can get this one out. Yeah, I can't get this one out. See, and this is the problem. This is where the problem lies. We can't get this guy out because there's an imperfection in my screen, and that imperfection is from it being a used unit. This is a year old. It took them a year to get these screens out. As a result, that is now in there. We're going to see, perhaps, if I can get this corner to lift and then drop right back down without screwing up the edges or anything. You know, it came out a little. Let's try and drop it back down and let it seal itself. See, that imperfection is still there. Can't quite get it out. There's a ding, and it's in the adhesive itself. There's a missing piece in the adhesive. It is not a piece of dirt or anything. Yay! So I have a screen that absolutely does not work. If I push, can get the big air bubbles eventually out. It's really trial and error on those. See, they keep reforming, and I don't know if you can see, they keep reforming every time I squeeze them out. Right? They're permanently under there. If an air bubble gets trapped, you have permanently gotten an air bubble trapped, and it will make these refractive little lensing effects that my camera's not picking up too well. I think it's maybe because you need to have 2 points of view, but actually that is it. So if I close one of my eyes, I can't see it, but if I use both my eyes, I can see a color difference, prismatic difference, where this bubble was moving, the whole trail of the bubble. This is odd. It's very odd. I've never had an adhesive like this that did this. But then again, every time I've ever put down a piece of glass on something, it was already a glass object, like a phone with Gorilla Glass on it. This entire screen here is covered in acrylic. It's plastic, and it's scratchable. This glass is not scratchable. That's the entire reason. And it's a shame that I can't get this to work on my unit. That I can't get one of these that actually goes on cleanly. Because I'm looking at this and it actually looks better than just the acrylic. Whatever their adhesive is has a pretty good refractive index. So it's a shame. It's a big shame. I took off a plastic screen protector that had no issues. I don't think it has anything to do with the glass itself. I think it has everything to do with the adhesive and the purity of the adhesive, maybe. They might be letting dirt or debris get in the adhesive, or it might be clumping. Some of it might be drying where it's not supposed to. You name it. I don't actually know what's causing it, but there are little imperfections here and there, and some of them show, some of them don't. But the problem, when the screen's turned on, yeah, you can't see them. You just can't. The problem is that they lead to these air bubbles. They make these air bubbles happen, and the air bubbles add a refractiveness that does show up. So unfortunately, I can't use these screens. DBrand screens, screen protectors for the Switch, I can't use them on an old unit. I imagine that if you had a brand new unit that wasn't slightly concave from use, that these air bubbles would be very, very hard to form on them. But I can't be sure of that. I just can't. So do I recommend them? Well, I don't know. I recommend everything DBrand by nature, just because they have a very good company ethic. They make good products. They work with 3M to make adhesives for things like the Switch. These are very high quality covers that are going on these controllers, and you can take them off again. They're removable. They worked with 3M to make that happen. That's awesome. Customer service. Awesome. Very good customer service. These screen protectors, my second batch, I got for free. They gave me a refund on, I guess a refund on the originals. So I got these for free, and I applied these, and they still had the same problems. But at least their customer service was nice enough to refund me one of the pairs. No questions asked, they just did it. I'm recording this so that they actually can see what happens. It's kind of a shame. It's kind of a huge shame, and I can't recommend these just because of that. If you have an old Switch, like a launch Switch, then I can't recommend it. I imagine that a flat, completely flat, unmarred, untouched screen would have no problems. But if you have, and keep in mind, I had a screen protector on this, so the screen itself has no cuts, no dings. I showed you, it's nice and smooth. But if you have a screen that potentially is concave, it's just over time it sinks in on itself because of the shape of the console and because the insides get hot and cold. The whole thing kind of shapes itself differently. My whole console is ever so slightly warped. It's almost unnoticeable. I don't know if I can show that or not. It's ever so slightly warped. And that's just because it's an older unit. But everyone's been waiting on these units, on the screen protectors and all. They've been waiting on these skins for a year, so you would think they would take that into account, that the majority of people that own a Switch have had them for a year now. I can't recommend the screen protector. The skins are amazing. Awesome skins. But their screen protector, specifically for this screen, I don't think it works. It's the adhesive, I believe. Or the purity of the adhesive. For whatever reason, can't do it. So I'm going to go back to my plastic screen protector, I guess. Unless they want to send me a third batch. I'm going to see what I can do with this. Salvage what I can. Thanks for watching, and yeah. Let me know if you have any problems like this. I'd like to know if anyone else has this issue with an older Switch.